just faking a laugh just because, oh, I see other people doing it. I didn't even hear the joke.
Yes, their family will say, you really need to go and get your hearing checked. It might be as simple as just checking for earwax and getting it out. You never know.
If you or someone you know is starting to experience hearing loss, well, my friend, this is a pit stop that you're absolutely going to love and you're going to want to pay very close attention to. Hey, I'm Zach Pitts. I'm your local spokesperson here in the Miami Valley. I'm back with one of my friends, good old buddy pal, Dr. Verbski here from Hearing Connections Audiology. So that's what we're really talking about today. How do you actually know if it's that time that you need to start getting some hearing aids and start that process? Okay, well, she's going to give us a few different key factors, some things that you want to be on the lookout for. So maybe it's yourself, maybe it's someone who's very close to you, and you find that, well, that person is constantly asking you to repeat themselves over and over. Maybe it's one of those situations where that volume on the TV, it just keeps getting louder and louder, and you're like, oh my gosh, how much louder could this possibly be? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about, are the things that you really want to be looking out for, and again, what it's going to look like for you to have that first appointment, that first session with Dr. Verbski. And there she is right over here. She's been hard at work all day. How are you, my friend? You doing okay?
I'm doing good, Zach. Thanks.
Yeah, and this is really neat. Of course, we've been back several different times, talking about hearing loss and just what people need to be aware of, because it can take on so many different forms. But you work with all sorts of people from young to old and everybody in between, and you really have a passion for this. So we talked a bit about some of the key signs that you're starting to experience hearing loss. Turning up the volume super loud, having to repeat yourself. What are some of the other ones?
Well, a lot of times people will say to you, didn't you hear that? And that's really frustrating for people. They're already having to ask, what did you say? What did you say? And a lot of times they tell me when their spouse isn't in the room, they'll say, sometimes I just fake it and everybody's laughing at a joke and I don't hear the joke and I'll just start laughing too. It's really humbling to people when they can't participate.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, it's got to be a huge hit to the confidence as well. I mean, you think about, just as you were describing that to me, just faking a laugh just because, oh, I see other people doing it. I didn't even hear the joke.
Yes, and that makes people feel left out. We actually have a hearing handicap inventory that we do with people so that we can look at what situations are problems for them and which situations maybe aren't so much of a problem for them. And we can target just the lifestyle situation problems that they have and encourage better communication skills within their family.
And what I found really interesting that you mentioned when we first got here for today's pit stop is you said that this is something that evolves over the course of several years. People wait years before they take any action.
7 years is the average. From the time somebody thinks, wow, how come I'm having to have people repeat everything to me all the time? And they start thinking about it, or, oh, I had to turn the TV up another couple of numbers again. And they start having these thoughts. And then as time goes on, their family will say, you really need to go and get your hearing checked. But they think, and it sounds to them, like people are just mumbling or they're not speaking up. And indeed, it does sound like that to people who have a hearing loss. We actually have a hearing loss simulator that we use with people so they can hear it.
So just it's not apparent to them because they don't realize that anything's wrong. Is there, just out of curiosity, is there any denial that goes into that?
For some people, yes. For other people, it's just so gradual, it's so insidious that they just don't know.
You don't even notice it's happening.
Right.
That's really interesting when you think about it. Now, of course, we want to make sure that if you or someone that is close to you is starting to experience hearing loss, we want to make sure that you're able to get connected to Dr. Verbski here at Hearing Connections Audiology. Now, the one thing we want to, of course, make sure that you are well aware of is that you do offer a consultation for people. So let's go ahead and just take a little walk around here, because I know that there's a lot of different things that people will go through. You put them through some different tests. You want to make sure that you do a correct diagnostic, right? As you're going through this process. So let's go this way real quick, because one of the rooms that you have is what I'm sure that most people and the hearing industry would have is an audio booth right here. So tell me about some of the tests that will typically happen in this room, and how long that takes, and what people can expect when they go through this process.
So this is our sound booth, and it helps attenuate outside noises so that we meet standards to ensure that we can get all the way down to threshold and find out, is it a true hearing loss, or are we having external noises maybe affect the hearing test? And we don't want that. That's why we have a test booth. That's why it's calibrated every year. So inside this booth, if you want to come with me.
Yeah, lead the way here. We're going to go ahead and make our way in here. And of course, the cameraman right on the other side. And you can actually hear how quiet it is in here. As soon as we walked in, I could feel it as we walked in.
Sucks in the noise.
It really does.
It really does. It's very dead. So all these panels have sound absorbing material in them, and this booth is calibrated for sound field. So we have speaker sound for the sound field, and we know exactly what level we're presenting with those. So anyway, when people come in here, we will have already sat down and talked about their case history. We will have already done the video otoscopy and looked in their ears, make sure there's no wax in there that could plug up the testing.
And that's one of the first things that you do when people come in for the first time, as we make our way on out this way. So this is one of the areas that you're definitely going to be in, of course, if you come on out to your location, which you're located in Lebanon. But as part of that process getting started in the first place, you have a couple different ways you reach out to people, or they reach out to you. You can either do something on Zoom, or they could actually come on out here.
Right. A lot of people want to just meet on Zoom the first time. We have a 15-minute hearing consultation where they ask me questions, and what kind of appointment do you think that I need? Here are my symptoms, like I don't think I have a hearing loss, but I can't understand speech and noise. Well, I ask a lot of questions to try to help them figure out, do we need to start with a basic hearing evaluation? Have you had one of those recently that we could use, and then go on and do some auditory processing screening maybe? So it just depends, and that 15-minute appointment right up front is so valuable to so many people to have questions answered.
And again, I know that there's no time better than the present. And you said it takes almost 7 years before anybody takes any kind of action, whether it's themselves that's dealing with the hearing loss, or maybe their loved one. What would you say to that person? You've been at this for a really long time. Again, you're really passionate about what you do, and you've helped a lot of people in that time that you've been in this particular industry. What would you say to the person right now who, whether it's them or it's someone they know, about, hey, come on out now.
Yes.
There's no better time than right now, because we're creatures of habit. Unfortunately, the biggest habit that we have is procrastination. If you've been putting it out for several years, it's time to get taken care of now. And again, what would you say to that person to say, hey, let's get this done. Let's get this taken care of. Let's get you living your best life.
Right. So if you're having those issues that we've talked about, it might be as simple as just checking for earwax and getting it out. You never know. But if there is really a hearing loss that's permanent, let's talk about where you're at in your lifestyle and what things are a problem. Maybe it's just a matter of some assistive devices and you don't need hearing aids yet. That's a possibility. The other possibility is you might be audiologically ready for hearing aids, but you're not ready to take that step. And you know what? That's okay. There's no pushing here. There's no hard sales pitch. What we do is try to help you live your best life right now with what you're willing to do and where you're willing to go. So don't worry about pressure. There isn't any here. And hearing aids, the sooner you put them on, the easier they are to get used to, actually. The more hearing loss you have and the longer you wait, it takes a little longer to get used to.
And we know that, of course, Dr. Verbski is going to take really great care of you. So let's get that conversation right now. What's the best number to reach you?
Best number is 513-342-0064.
And what about that website?
The website, if you go to Hearing Connections with an S, audiology.com, you will find us.
Okay, so this is the website. Give her a call. Of course, in this pit stop post that you're watching right now, we have Hearing Connections Audiology LLC tagged in this post. So the easiest thing that you could do is just go ahead and visit the Facebook page. Of course, give it a like while you're at it. Of course, you can have all of her contact information listed there on your Facebook page, but do not procrastinate any longer. If this is you or someone you know that is dealing with hearing loss, make sure that you pay my friend Dr. Verbski at Hearing Connections Audiology a visit. And of course, we'll see you on the next pit stop.